You're listening to The Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell, and co-host Keelan Harvey on Alternative Talk AM 1150. Now, back to the show with local mortgage experts Tina Mitchell and Keelan Harvey.
Welcome back to the Money Hour on 1150 AM KKNW at the Saturday, November 23rd show. I am your host, Tina Mitchell.
And I'm your co-host, Keelan Harvey.
You're our local mortgage experts. It's a great day to talk about money. That's what the show is all about, how to make money, how to save money so you can have a better quality of life for you and your family. If you're hearing our show at a different time of day, you are listening to our rebroadcast, but we're here to connect you with our guest. You can call the show at 1-855-400-1150. Again, that's 1-855-400-1150 or online at themoneyhour.com. In studio right now, we have Leanne Kabat of 5 Seasons of Life. Uncover your business brilliance. Leanne, first time in studio. We're very excited to have you here today.
I am super excited. Thank you for having me.
Wonderful, of course. A little bit about Leanne. She hosts the 5 Seasons Life podcast and is an author, speaker, and business brilliance catalyst. The transformative power of her 5-season strategies helps 2 groups: women who create a vibrant life while being a fully connected mom, and entrepreneurs who want to move from struggling to successful in their businesses. Leanne developed the 5 Seasons framework after receiving a harrowing medical diagnosis in 2006 that gave her 5 years to live. For the first 3 years, she was busy dying. Then she decided to live. Over the last 13 years, she built a mission-driven business, published 3 books, is raising 3 teens, celebrates her huge life goal of visiting 50 countries. Wow. And you can find her on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, or sitting by the lake, just daydreaming.
Leanne, I love it. What a crazy journey, and how amazing are you? Being given 5 years to live after a brain crash in 2006. Tell us about that. How has that journey shaped who you are today? I can only imagine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was. We had just moved to Seattle from Ottawa, Canada, so I had not established a network. My husband was off on his initial business trip for his new company job. It was a really hard time. I had 2 toddlers at the time. I was pregnant with baby number 3, and when he was in California, the crash happened the first time. And it was the most devastating period of my life. Obviously, the entire multiple level of hours that I laid on the floor frozen, but also the number of months afterwards that they kept digging around, right? And after the baby was born, it was just testing and poking and prodding and what is it? What does she have? And everybody wanted to solve the puzzle. So it was a really stressful journey, having 3 small children and having this, looming medical problem hanging over me. But I think one of the things that I was super grateful for was just how I was able to dig kind of deep into who I was and say, this is what I need, and I'm going to claim that I need this, right? Yeah. So I think one of the things that I see with a lot of women that I work with is they will not only put themselves last, but deny what they need to kind of get through whatever hardships they're going through. And I really decided that wasn't going to be how it was going to be for me. If I needed sleep, I needed to sleep. If I needed to go for a walk, if I needed to play, dishes did not get done in my house. I did not sweep the floor. I remember my mother-in-law came and she was commenting on my baseboards. Like, when is the last time you dusted your baseboards? And I'm like, who has time in their life for that? Right?
Exactly.
Like, that is never going to happen.
Yeah.
So it made me crystal clear on what priorities mattered to me and my family. And then as I became healthier and stronger, the business that I decided to build.
Yeah, and I love it. I love in your bio that you got busy dying and then you got busy living. Totally. And, my message is tragedy to triumph. I believe the bigger the tragedy, the bigger the triumph. You just have to know how to use that fight within you to conquer whatever tragedy that you have. And so I'm so blessed to have you in studio here and sharing your inspiration with our listeners. So 2019, it's been a really busy year for you. You published your first book in February called The 5 Seasons of Connection to Your Child. And last week you published your second book. Congratulations. The 5 Seasons of Connection to Your Business Brilliance. I love that. Business Brilliance. I can't say it, but I love Business Brilliance.
It's a bit of a tongue twister.
And so walk us through the seasons that you speak of in your books.
Mm-hmm. So as I was parenting my kids, I just realized that there were a lot of similarities between the seasons in my family and the actual seasons here. And so it just really transformed the way that I was interacting with them. I was sick. I was feeling like every moment was my last moment with them. Do I want them to remember me as this nagging, screaming, barking, crazy person? Or did I want them to have with them like all of the love that I felt? So it really came out of this space where I just wanted to always be in this summer space with them. So it just felt like I always wanted to be happy. I wanted to be connected. I wanted it to be warm. I wanted them always to remember like this expansive feeling of love.
Yeah.
And so the 5 seasons came out of that experience. And summer is that, right? It is that happy, promised place where you just are feeling your absolute best. And then the flip side of that, of course, is winter, right? Where you are completely disconnected. You are struggling. Things are hard. It's dark. You're shutting down. And then when you are in that dark place, how we get out of those tragedies, like you said, Tina, how we rebuild things is we spring clean. Right. So we start, bringing in some of the techniques to spring clean what got us into winter in the first place. And as we spring clean, we start to realize that, yes, we are back in that summer spot again. So we are back to that happy place. We cleaned, what got us into winter. We are now in the promised place. And then we get a little complacent and we get a little not noticing the little things, and we slide into fall. And fall is really that warning space where you're like, they slammed the door. Wait a minute, what's going on, you know? And then the 5th season that I talk about is called the crossroads. And so when that child comes in, they throw down their bag, they slam the door, you can either slide into winter and go down the hallway and, bark at them, we don't walk in the house that way, which will take you into a place of conflict. Or you invite them back to summer and say, hey, honey, is everything okay? What happened?
Yeah.
Something must have happened to make you feel so much energy coming in the house and slamming the door. So the crossroads is really our opportunity to be the person that we want to be in that space.
Yeah. It's so beautiful. And we all have to go through those seasons. It's how you get through the seasons to navigate into the next. And I love that. And at the same time, winter is winter, but winter can be a beautiful thing if you embrace what the uniqueness about winter has to offer. And that's so beautiful.
Thank you.
And what a great analogy in Seattle, because we have the seasons
we
here.
do.
And
We're so fortunate.
I embrace that. I love it. When I'm kind of over summer, and then the fall happens, and then the sweaters come out, and the coffee, and then winter. And with, the mountains and everything, you can embrace all of our seasons here. So how cool is that? So how do these seasons lead you to more connections and less chaos with your family and in your business? How can people utilize some tools to help them for this?
I think one of the most important pieces from the 5 seasons that I have gotten and that I then turn around and give to my clients is that we control it all. We control it all, right? We choose every day how we're going to be showing up. If you are going to be in conflict with your kids, no matter how badly people push back on me, they are participating in that because they have the tools more than the child does to navigate back to summer, right? So a big part of this book is really on becoming more self-aware and identifying what are your hot buttons, like what pushes you into winter. Some families just find that lying is something that they cannot tolerate. It's like, okay, so we're going to build strategies around something that triggers you to response in a winter conflict-ridden way. So it's just really about knowing who you are and what kind of situations might come up in your family so you can build practices around it. You're not going to get rid of winter. You're not going to get rid of conflict. But when you come to it as this is an opportunity to learn, maybe my child is pushing back because they don't want things to be the way they are. They're starting to stretch their independence and they're pushing back and testing me. Now's the time just to reevaluate. So it really, if you think of it like a spiral, you can keep circling around the same issues, but every time you get there, you want it to be a little bit more evolved.
Yes, yeah. And those struggles, those are the times that lessons need to be learned, and that's why they're there. It's how you embrace those, just as you said. So let's talk about your work with your clients and how it's evolved after creating the Business Brilliance strategy.
Absolutely. So many of the times I would work with families and they would come and say, this is amazing. You helped us with our family, but do you do anything for businesses? And they would whisper it, especially the women. They were not confident that they could even create a business. And I said, yes, of course I do. The system is absolutely transferable to that place. So the seasons are exactly the same, but obviously uncovering your business brilliance really is about pulling back the layers of all of the, the shame and the doubt and the fear and things that we layer on top of ourselves when we think we can't show up fully as who we are. So really being in your brilliance is doing the thing that is most aligned with who you are and your goals, your priorities, and where you want to be in your life, right? So if you feel like you are constrained and restricted in some ways, you are not operating in your business brilliance.
Yeah.
I have many artist clients who are doing accounting type jobs, and they're, they dread every morning, and they're sick, and they, it manifests in physical, ailments. And I'm like, you are not in your brilliance.
Yeah.
Right. So, if you need to keep that job in the short term, but let us figure out a way that you can take your skills and your brilliance and bring it together to be more in aligned with what you naturally can give the world to make it a better place.
Yeah.
All right, Leanne, so what are some of the ways that people can leverage their business brilliance? I really love this idea of where they truly shine. How can they leverage that to make their business grow and be successful?
So I think one of the things that you want to do when you own a business is understand your strengths and your abilities so that you know what you shouldn't be doing, right? Because I think some people get stuck on doing all the things that they really dread and that are really kind of energy sucks for their life.
Yeah.
And they're not actually operating in their best place. So part of it is knowing what your strengths are and then knowing areas of, where you should be outsourcing or who else you should be bringing onto your team to supplement your brilliance. Because as many times as you can stay in that zone of genius, it really will enable you to touch more people and positively, grow your impact and your income. And I think that's why people start their businesses, to get that level of freedom.
Yeah.
But when they're suffocating under all of the things that they haven't quite mastered, they think this isn't for me. I'm not good enough. I suck at being a business owner. And that's just not true. They're really just staying in, their space of unbrilliance.
And she speaks my language, obviously. One of my core practices, embrace your strength, hire out your weakness, spend valuable time mastering your strengths instead of trying to improve your weaknesses. Make sure you have those to-do list, but also your not to-do list. So true. So let's talk about, why do you recommend people learn about their brilliance, business brilliance?
Because I think there is a lot of opportunity in the world right now. I mean, I have clients in Africa. I have a client in Australia. The time is so ripe for us to be crossing boundaries and cultures and geography to really help people shine in their own brilliance. And so if you know your brilliance and you're able to operate from that place, your reach, your ripples can go super far, and you can impact people all over the world.
Yeah.
Know your brilliance and then harness that power to really make the most of the time that you work. Because yes, we want to work and we want to be effective, but we also want to live.
Yes.
Right. And so just having that opportunity to build the actual full life and the full spectrum life is what I think most people are after. So they want a super engaging professional life and a very fulfilling personal life.
Yeah. And your success in business or your success in your personal life, there are core practices that we all know. It's sharing it in your own brilliance way, and it doesn't matter where they're at in the world. So I love that you're sharing that. So as we're wrapping up our time with you, Leanne, where can our listeners get your books?
Thank you. So I'm on the 5seasonslife.com, and my books are all available on Amazon.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, congratulations again to all your success, and congratulations as well from healing and just becoming the greatest person that you can, or the greatest person that you were meant to be out of a tragedy like that.
Thank you very much. I'm honored to be here. Thank you.
Look forward to having you back. And coming up next in the Money Hour, I love her. I miss her. I'm in so much pain. Dee Gupa of D Coaching right here at 1150 AM KKNW after this short break.